Hello, welcome to Curious Times. It's Tuesday, June 14th, and we have Melissa Bruce here with us today. You might remember Melissa as our regular astrologer once a month on Tuesdays. Once a month on the first Tuesday. Is it the first Tuesday? It's the second Tuesday of every month, and she's also known as the Heavy Metal Psychic. And she broadcasts her own radio show, The Heavy Metal Psychic, on paramaniaradio.com on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can find out more about Melissa at www.heavymetalpsychic.com, or you can catch up with her on Facebook at Heavy Metal Psychic. And so it is my great pleasure, to welcome Melissa to the show. Thank you for being
so long.
Thanks, so nice to see you again. It's been a long time since I got to talk with you.
Have I aged since the last time? I'm sure I have.
I have too. I think I got a few extra days here.
I was trying to keep it going because you froze. And rather than just sitting here and having everybody stare at me and not say anything, I decided to ask for questions in the chat room and figured, well, I'll just answer some questions while we're trying to figure out what's going on. And I was in the middle of answering one, and I sure do hope that the person who initially asked the question came back. I think so. I think she did. So I was going to continue to answer that because I got about maybe 30 seconds in, and then
since I don't have any idea what you're talking about, since it's been a whole month since I've seen you last.
I know,
So that refresh us what that question might be. And
that question was, what does it mean when the moon is in your sign? And the example being that it's in Scorpio, or it's currently going into Scorpio right now. And so the answer to that question is, officially now, the moon rules emotions. So when you have the moon in your sign, and you'll have the moon in your sign once a month, every single month, you'll also, every year, you'll deal with the moon in your sign in its different phases. So you'll always have a full moon in your sign once a year. You'll always have a new moon. The full moon, of course, is the strongest moon energy. So what happens to the individual when the moon is in your sign is you might deal with things or might feel like you're dealing with more things of an emotional nature. So things will frustrate you more, maybe get you a little bit angrier. If you're not a Scorpio, actually the full moon was in Scorpio last month, so you guys are dealing with it on its way to being full. But it's actually full this weekend in Sagittarius. I bet you can't wait, Chris.
I could hardly wait. You know, it's been nothing but good astrological news every week for Sagittarius.
Every time.
It's like every freaking week. It's like Sagittarius, but this is really going to hurt. And really
Sagittarius has been taking a beating.
Has a lot of crap coming at. And
Sagittarius has been taking a beating lately. They really have. And every Sagittarian that I know has been going through it for months. I mean, you know, Sherry Gamble is a good example. She's a Sagittarian. And, you know, she's a good Sagittarian, not an evil one, thank goodness. But, you know, she's been going through her own health issues. We all know that, Chris. But I didn't want to be rude, but, you know. I met a couple of evil sags, just so you know, okay? I can send you a list if you want. But it just depends. I'm not saying that they're all evil, but, you know, they can be. The difference is that Sagittarians, when you piss them off, they don't forget it. And if it takes a lifetime to get back at you, they will get back at you. And the last thing that you're going to see when you're taking your last breath is that Sagittarian standing over you, laughing their ass off because they finally got you. That's where the evilness of the Sagittarius comes in. But not all of them are like that.
No.
But every Sagittarian I've known has been going through some issues. The moon energy, when it's full, makes those difficulties even more emotionally traumatic. So when the moon is in your sign, depending on its phase, what you're looking for is if you're feeling overly emotional about something when you don't normally, or you feel like life is kind of sort of, everything is stacking against you and it's making you frustrated, look to see if the moon is in your sign, because a lot of times that does happen. It's not always a bad thing, though. Because if the moon is in your sign and it's lining up positively, not going to happen for you this time, Chris, I'm sorry. But if it's lining up positively with other planets, then you're looking at a more positive emotion, or that deep emotion coming out and turning into something really good for you. So when the moon is in your sign, it basically means that you might be experiencing or having some emotional experiences. For me as an Aquarian and a person who doesn't like to deal with emotions, I hate it when the full moon is in my sign. Because there's always something that comes in and it smacks me across the face, and I wind up spending the entire night awake and crying over something that I don't have any control over. And then luckily the moon's only in your sign for a couple of days and then it's gone. So it doesn't last for a long time, which is good. But that's generally what it means when the moon is in your sign. If it's aspecting positively with other planets, it generally is helpful. When it's not, or when it's at its fullest point, you could be experiencing a lot of emotional or dealings that are going on around you. And you also have to look at just the general basics, whether it's in your sign or not in your sign. Thank you. I mean, you look at what happens generally when there's a full moon. My husband he drives a bus. So not that he can't tell whether or not the moon is full by looking at it, but if it's earlier on in the day and he hasn't been paying attention to it and everything is just batshit crazy that day, he'll send me I'll get this message. Is there a full moon coming up? Because everything is nuts. And chances are there is a full moon coming, and that energy just makes it more intense for everybody. With a Sagittarian full moon like we're going to have this weekend, Sagittarian emotional energy can be pretty abrupt.
Indeed.
That is the nicest way I can put it. It can be pretty abrupt. So when you're dealing with that, you're going to deal with a lot of anger, because it's a fire energy, and fire energy is very intense emotion. So you're going to be dealing with a lot of anger. You're going to be dealing with a lot of frustration. You're going to be dealing with a lot of assholes who don't know how to drive on the road, or a lot of aggressive driving. And you want to prepare yourself for that aggression. When you prepare yourself, you stand above the aggression and you're not playing a part in the drama llama circle. When you're not prepared, you get sucked right into that drama llama circle, and thus you're picking up all the with
also, do not piss off a Sagittarian, in particular this Sagittarian, this weekend, and we'll all get along just fine.
I'm staying away, okay? You stay in your country and I'll stay in mine, and that's how that's going to work.
I think that we're in the pre-shadow of the Sagittarian full moon here or something, because
we're getting there, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, we're getting there, yeah. But this mutable Grand Cross energy is no joke. It's been going on for a couple of months. It's ending this week. Although the moon is going to come into Gemini at the end of next week and create that aspect again, but it's only going to last for a day. And mutable Grand Cross energy makes everything around you just plain old chaotic. I mean, that's the best word I can describe when it comes to mutable Grand Crosses. Everything is chaotic, and it started off affecting the most important aspects of our lives, our work, our home, our relationships, just how we're dealing with ourselves. And now it's moved into how we think about things, old issues coming up that you haven't dealt with, and so they're rearing their ugly heads, so you deal with them now, and and these types of things. Maybe even in your schedule, too many things coming into your schedule. You want to get things done, but there's too many interruptions coming in and you can't focus. And mutable signs have a hard time focusing anyways, because like the typical Sagittarian brain, it keeps going and going and going and going and going. So, mutable signs move from one thing to another very quickly. And when you look at a mutable Grand Cross, it's like they're all moving in circles, and there's really no direction. And then you add everybody else into the mix who doesn't know what the hell is going on, and it becomes mass confusion. So But we're getting out of that here pretty soon, which is good. But Sagittarius is still, Saturn is still in a T-square with Neptune and Jupiter, and Saturn and Neptune are both retrograde. So it's still a heavy aspect, but nowhere near as heavy as that mutable Grand Cross was. There is light at the end of the tunnel, Chris, I swear.
Well, you know, I know it.
I'm not sure how long that tunnel is, but I know it's there.
That's what the light is, people. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. No, you know, there's always going to be, no matter what, no matter who you are and how awful everything is, whatever, blah, blah, like, it's impossible for it to stay that way forever. And so, you know, it can get worse and could get better. It could get, you know, whatever, but it's going to change. And so all you can do is, make the best out of it, I guess. And,
well, a lot of the things that I work with a lot of my clients is one of the main things that I hear all the time is, why can't I get a break? I got this happening to me, and I got that happening to me, and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And my life is, you know, I see that FML on Facebook all the time, and it pisses me off every time I see it. Yeah. And what people don't understand is, one, without the challenge, you wouldn't enjoy the when it's good, because there would be nothing to compare it to. You get bored after a while, and we've seen this in history where we've got a major world war. Things are terrible for years because this is what these wars did. Completely and totally destroyed everything. They had to rebuild everything, and then all of a sudden everybody's happy, and what happens? Somebody has to start another war. Because the next generation has just come in, and the next generation doesn't remember what the struggle was like. And so we have to have this again. And it's our way of appreciating what we do have when things are good. The other thing is, these challenges are not there just to plague you. There's something very important to learn in every single one of them. Mm-hmm. Whether we choose to learn that lesson or not is up to us.
By now, I have a great recollection and memory of you know, the not so great times, in which case I would be in a position to really, really, really appreciate things going really well. And so, just saying to the universe, just saying.
I need to be able to appreciate things going really well.
Yeah.
But when
I'm ready to appreciate now.
When they keep coming up, it's something inside of you that needs to be tweaked. Even if it's outside circumstances that are coming in to challenge you.
Yeah.
And almost everybody I work with says, well, I have no control over that. Right. You know, these are all outside circumstances. I have no control over that. But if in your mind you're sitting there going, oh my God, what's next? What else is going to go wrong? What you just said to the universe was, I'm not done yet. Bring me another challenge. So your own mindset and how you're looking at those challenges is really, really, really important. Yes, I'm human, and when things get too challenging for me and it seems like one thing after the other, I'm going to do what everybody else does, and I'm going to say, enough's enough. I'm done with this shit. Mm-hmm. But then I have to have my little pity party for a few minutes, and then I get over it and go, okay, tell me what it is I need to learn, so that I can learn it and get through this and move on with my life, because I don't like being stuck. And I am very stubborn.
Yeah. Oh, please tell me about stubborn, you know what I mean? I get that. Well, Bryn, okay, like look up from where you just typed, and you should see a orange little box with my name in it or something. You know what I mean? Hello. Okay. And a little orange tab where it says chat, and then it says public and options. Ah, there you go. Okay. So I did one. I guess we're gonna have to save until maybe next time, or else, if we don't have anybody else after Bryn, then, maybe it's something I'd like to give you time anyways, or advance notice, which is to say, let's at one point, maybe next time, talk about astrology for pets, for animals. And,
that would be very interesting.
yeah. And that kind of thing. So, people seem to be continuing to be in and out, a couple of people, in and out and in and out. I think those people might be on wireless connections. I know Amy is for sure. And, so sorry about your guys' connectivity problems, you guys tonight. It's just been one of those nights and I appreciate everybody's patience and stick-to-itness. And, so I'm asking Bryn, okay, there we go. So Bryn, so we're going to have Bryn's question. And, she might just do this, we'll see. Here's his question. Because so his birthday is, July 3rd, 56. I hope that's
Happy
July
almost
3rd.
Birthday.
Sorry?
I said happy almost birthday.
Happy almost birthday. 7/3/56. I'm assuming that that's July 3rd and not March 7th.
It could go either way.
I think he's saying July 3rd.
Okay.
What's going on with me? It's been a bit energetically rough. And, so like, if you're looking for, like, astrology, like, it takes a little more than just the birth date, but,
what I can do is I can do either a reading based off of the birth chart, which I really can't do online because it'll take a long time, and it is very personal. Or we can do a reading based on his progress chart, which is his natal chart and the position that it's in right now.
So he was born at 7:10 p.m., Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Hold on. What was the year again?
56.
I want to look at a progress chart really quick, and this will give you guys a little bit of a look-see at what a progress chart will tell you.
That's 1856, right? Right? Oh, 1956.
Where is my progress chart thingy?
He's a time traveler, he said. We'll go back and fix everything, and fix it for me while you're at it too, man.
Right?
Anybody who's a time traveler that would bother staying here in this time right now, you're whacked. You're whacked out of your freaking mind. And
you know what? Well, we haven't been in other time periods, so we don't really know exactly what was going on. We only know what people told us.
Right.
It's a little bit different. And I always hear about, things, about the good old days and stuff like that. That's a load of crap. They had their own challenges at that time, just like we have here now.
Yeah, no, that's true.
The point is we're humans and we never learn.
Yeah.
We go through the same thing over and over and over again.
So go ahead.
We're not doing a progress chart because I can't find it for some reason. So we're going to do a regular one.
Okay. All right. Well, while you're looking that up, I was just talking with somebody the other day and saying, like back in the day, people could work all day in their farm or whatever it was and blah, 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 and spend their time with their family at night. And they had, the hardships of whatever weather or things like this were. Now people will have to work all day and half the night and never be with their families and blah, blah, blah. And we have all kinds of many more other issues and problems that, we're, being stressed to the max with. And so, when you think about it in some of those ways, was it any harder work back then, or just a different kind of hard work? And,
I think that's the ticket.
Yeah.
Can you give me that birth time and the
birth time, 7:10 p.m., Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Bridgeport. Connecticut. Okay. All right. So for Bryn, you actually came into this lifetime without a lot of challenges. I've seen some charts where the whole person's life is a challenge. This particular chart doesn't have a ton of challenges. I would like to look at the progress chart, but I just for some reason can't figure out where the hell I put it, and that makes me really angry. Which would tell us a little bit more about right now. But at the same time, I'm seeing this Taurus moon here, Bryn. And one of the things that I've noticed with some of the people that I've been working with and clients and stuff like that, it's been a heck of a time for Tauruses this year. I don't know what it is. I can't figure out why it's a difficult time for Tauruses. But with that Taurus moon there, and it's really focusing its energy on your home life and those that you love, I'm going to assume that some of these challenges are around those two aspects of your life. Like there's a lot of family issues there. Having a moon in Taurus in your chart, what this is saying about how you deal with things emotionally is you hold them very deeply inside of yourself. You also have a tendency to put up a wall or a mask on that makes it appear to other people that everything is fine, but on the inside, it seems to be tearing you up inside. And one of the things that's popping up for me for you is that some of those things that are eating you up inside, they really need to come out. And when I say they really need to come out, what I really mean is it's time to focus on those things, accept them, learn to love them, release them, really release the feelings that are still attached to those things. You know, it's really interesting how we as human beings, let's just say that an adult, when we were children, it's been a long day, can you tell? When we were children, an adult comes up to us and say, you're never going to amount to anything. And we take that mindset and it becomes a part of us, even if we're angry about it. And we grow into adulthood, and that feeling and that mindset stays with us. No matter what we do, we're going to automatically assume that we're not going to amount to anything when we're doing it. So we have to go into that part of ourselves and embrace that part of ourselves, heal ourselves, and really let it go. Allow the feelings to go. Give that part of yourself love that's hurting, because that's how you heal that part of yourself. And I'm really feeling that there's a lot of things that are, the words I'm getting is they're catching up to you. And it's time to just take a moment to start working with those things as and when they come up. And they'll come up in different situations of your life. For instance, if I can use you as an example, Chris, not saying that this is what's going on, but if you had issues in childhood where, let's say, nobody ever listened to you. You could talk and talk and talk all day long, but, everybody was just like, oh, don't pay any attention to her. She's just a child. She doesn't know what she's talking about. These issues that you're going through right now with the website not working, it's doing the same thing. It's saying, nobody wants to hear you talk right now. And that's why the website's not working. So it actually plays out in a lot of different ways. And in some cases, we have a hard time being able to identify the situation with the root. So I would just like to say, Bryn, if you'd like to get in touch with me through my website, because I would really like to help you work through these things. I'm not a medium that just answers basic questions. When's my money coming? When's my love life going to pick up? All of that stuff. To be honest with you, those two questions right there are the two questions that every medium and psychic hates, unless they're those that just handle those basic questions. What I do with my gifts, my astrology background, my mediumship background, is my job is to help you be the best that you can. And help you get through those things so that they're not holding you back anymore. And if you don't go through those things and you don't deal with those things, eventually they're going to catch up to the point where it becomes a big old block and you cannot seem to bust through that wall. It's kind of like the Pink Floyd album, Another Brick in a Wall. And this guy builds up this wall of all of these things that happen to him, and then he can't seem to bust the wall down after that. My job is to help you break that wall down one brick at a time so that the wall just doesn't exist anymore. Not plow through the wall because it's not going to work. Trust me, I've tried, and I've got a dent in my forehead right here to prove it. Okay, I just lied. I don't really have a dent in my forehead, but you get what I'm saying.
And the walls come tumbling down.
Yeah, so get a hold of me, Bryn. I would love to help you through this. It's not going to take one session. If you got a lot of stuff, it's going to take multiple sessions, but I guarantee if you do the work and I provide the tools, you do the work. If you do it, I guarantee you're going to feel a lot better afterwards.
He's pretty good about that. I think he would do the work. A lot of other people I wouldn't say that for.
I think so too. And you know what? I'm one of those people that I avoid doing the work because I avoid my own emotions. And if I have to feel it, of course I'm going to avoid doing the work. But I did that for so many years and it didn't work for me that I finally just said, all right, to hell with it. I'm just going to do this then because I'm tired of reliving it.
Yeah.
That's okay,
right.
Bryn. Just get a hold of me. We'll figure something out. I do payment plans and I do all kinds of fun stuff.
Okay. All right. So if anybody else that's on there right now with your mics, you can unmute your damn self. You all know how to by now. The only other two, there's David and Goliath. David and Mary Margaret. And no problem, Bryn. And where have you been all this time anyway, Bryn? Bryn. And so, okay, Mary Margaret, how are you? You unmuted yourself. I cannot hear you.
You can.
I can now. I did for a quick second. She needs to find her necklace. She needs to find a working microphone, too.
Maybe.
There you are. See, I heard you laugh, Mary Margaret. So it is working. I don't know what's going on.
I was going to say, look for the working microphone. You'll probably find the necklace instead.
Yeah, there you go.
That's usually how it works out for me.
Okay.
Okay, we heard you. So ask your question, Mary Margaret, and how are you feeling?
Feeling much better. I've still got the congestion, but I'm alive.
All right. Well, we know you're alive.
I can't find Deb's necklace. I'm about to go crazy.
Whose necklace?
What is Deb?
Deb, you made a necklace for someone and now you can't find it?
Yes, I was ready to mail it, and I put it in a box, and then I had to do all that Canadian paperwork, and I got PO'd and put it up, and then now I can't find it.
Did it accidentally go into someone else's box and get mailed to someone else? No?
It's here. I put it up so I wouldn't lose it.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to leave you with
your first mistake.
Yeah.
It's always the first mistake. You put it in a place where you know you're not going to lose it, and you wind up losing it.
Well, I've been cleaning out clutter, so I've moved a bunch of stuff.
Okay. Can you take that it might be in a box inside of a box?
Yes.
Like you put it, what I'm seeing is it's like a box with no top and you just kind of dropped it in there and left it there. Or it may have fallen in another one of those boxes. I'm also seeing a couch around it. So it's not, obviously if it's in a box, it may not be inside of the couch, but if it's a really, really small box, I would check in between the cushions and under the cushions just to make sure it didn't slide in there, because there's something about this couch that I keep seeing or keeps coming up around this necklace. And I'm not sure if they're pointing me towards the room that the necklace is in, or if it's on a piece of furniture or somewhere around that couch. Could be underneath it even. I'm also, okay, I'm going to tell you how I see this, and you can validate whether or not you know somebody around you. But I have to say, there's a younger person that goes through the place like the Tasmanian devil. Does that make sense? Lots and lots of energy. This kid never stops.
My granddaughter, but she's not in just in the living room. She's a baby.
She's a baby?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just not saying that she moved it necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is she a mobile baby? As in she moves around, crawls around or something?
Yeah,
Or is she still just...
Well, my daughter was helping me with the clutter. So she was going crazy in there, going fast, so she might have moved it.
Ah, okay. Okay, I got you. Okay. In this room with the couch, do you happen to have, like, it's not an entertainment center. It looks more like bookshelves to me with a bunch of, not necessarily books, but a bunch of stuff on it.
Armoire?
You got an armoire. Okay. I would also check in there and also check anything that came out of there. And you said you've been getting rid of clutter, but you haven't actually gotten rid of it yet. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm not going to say that you haven't already looked through that stuff, but if you did, do a double take or a double check and check inside of things also, that it didn't accidentally slip inside of like another box or something like that. Because this box doesn't look that big to me. It's fairly small and could be hidden inside of something bigger.
Yeah, I've been sorting out stuff, so there's boxes and boxes and boxes.
Okay. I would just recheck some of those boxes just to make sure that it accidentally didn't get thrown in there. Your daughter might have thrown it in there not realizing what it was, or it was attached to something. I lost a really pretty purple fairy that way, unpacking all my stuff, and she was so small and so delicate that I guess I threw her away by accident or something, and I've been kicking myself ever since. That was 10 years ago. But just check inside of things. Also, is there a box of clothing that you're getting rid of?
Mary Margaret? Okay, type the answer if you're not, now we're not hearing you again. So is there clothing? She muted herself. Let me unmute you. Hello?
Hi.
Okay, there you are. That's weird. Go ahead,
Yes, there's clothing.
Okay, so I would check that box and not just check in between the clothing items, but inside the clothing, because I'm almost seeing like it in a sweater sleeve or something like that. Where you find it, there's going to be no rhyme or reason to it. I'm just going to put it that way.
Okay.
So I would check everything, and anything that you go, oh, it couldn't possibly be in there, you definitely need to check that spot. Just to be on the safe side.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa.
You're very welcome. I hope you find it.
Thanks. I will. It's got to be here. It's just normally in all my mess, and I hope nobody remote views. I can find it, but when I move or when somebody moves stuff, then I'm done.
Yeah, and the visual that I got with your daughter was she was literally taking things off a shelf and throwing them in a box. So she may have inadvertently done it without even realizing that she did it.
It was a big help, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's lots of energy. She got lots of energy, that's for sure. She should come clean my house. Just saying.
Lord. She's got about 3 years here, and then I'll send her.
Okay. Hopefully I can wait that long.
Thanks, Chris.
No problem. Hopefully you get feeling better quicker,
Yeah, I will. It's just aggravating.
I know.
Can I ask really quick, is the congestion in your head congestion or chest congestion? Chest?
Yeah. I went to the doctor.
Okay. I just, I'm not a doctor, but I make a tea with ginger root.
Huh?
And, if you don't like the taste of ginger, you can add cinnamon or cloves or, something to kind of counteract the taste of the ginger. I do like whole slices of orange, but you put all this stuff in a pot and you boil it. Ginger is really good for breaking up that congestion in the chest. And I swear by it, there's usually a pot going most of the winter here at my house. If anybody is sick anywhere, I make people drink it.
What if I don't have fresh ginger, though? Can I use the ground ginger?
You can, but fresh ginger, I always go as fresh as possible, but you can. And you can even put a little bit of the ground ginger, like, say, in a bowl of soup. Okay. Make yourself some chicken soup and put a little dab of the crushed ginger or the powdered ginger in there. But I'm a big fan of using the actual root. And the root is super cheap, and all you gotta do is cut it into chunks and throw it in a pot and boil it. That's it. It's super easy.
Have a ginger bath too, and you can use the powder. It really helps detox you.
Mhm. It does.
Try that.
You sweat it all out, eh? You get in, so take same rule, take some fresh ginger or powdered ginger, put it in a pot, boil it for a little bit, then let it cool down just a little bit while you're running your bathtub, and then pour that into the bathtub water. And, it's also good for depression, but you sweat out, you sweat.
Mhm. It's good for a lot of things.
Yeah. I'd use quite a bit, like, you know what I mean? Are you using powder? Like, I'd use maybe a couple tablespoons at least.
Yeah.
And so there you go. And you should sweat good. Sweat good. Like, you'll sweat so much after you finish your bath, you'll be sweating, and then you'll have to go have a bath because you're all sweating.
A ginger bath followed by a plain bath.
By a plain bath or a quick rinse off, a quick refreshing. But it's good to sweat it out anyhow. Of course, I have always said horseradish.
Yeah, I like horseradish, but I don't. The only thing I've got here now is a little packet, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely start with the ginger powder. When I make homemade soups, I always put a little bit of ginger powder in there also. Not the root, but the powder to give it a very light ginger taste, but it's really not about the taste. It's just about getting the ginger in there.
Oh.
Yepper. Good luck finding the necklace.
Thank you very much. I'll
All
come
right.
tomorrow night with good news.
Awesome. I know you will. Oh, if we're here. I don't know. What's that? What's that? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what was that? You
could do angel cards.
Oh, angel cards. You know how much I love angel cards. What, did you say you could do the angel cards?
Yeah.
Okay, you can come on and do angel cards. We'll call it amateur night. See if anyone else wants to jump on.
That would be cool.
I've got Christy Robinette's Higher Intuitions too.
Oh, that would be neat. That would be good. I like her.
Okay.
And so that would be good. I'm kind of sick of angel cards, Whether no offense to you. But if you have an alternative thing, like something like I've never heard before in my life, like Christy Robinette's Higher or whatever.
Yes, and it's got a 128-page guide, so.
Holy hell,
yeah.
Good. Okay, well, you're on. We'll see who else comes. Everybody, make sure you line up for a reading from the great Mary Margaret tomorrow night at Curious Times. Hopefully the phones will be back working, and I'm told that they should be. And
I think they will be by tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's my official prediction. There you go. Yeah. I don't do them very often, so you should feel honored.
I'm very honored, of course I'm honored. I'm honored, always honored. Okay, So good, Mary Margaret, yes?
Yes.
All right, we will park you. Sorry about the little dent in your bumper. David, if you want to talk, then talk. Christy, if you want to talk, then talk. You know how to do that. Unmute your own damn selves or let me know. Okay, there's David. Hey, David.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How's it going?
It's all right. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Great, great. How you doing, Melissa?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Not sure what kind of reading you want to do for this, but I have a question. Today and for a little bit of yesterday, things have been going crazy around me, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It's mostly technology's freaking out. Computer's doing weird things. My e-cig's firing itself. I'm draining batteries like mad. All kinds of crazy stuff going on. And this doesn't normally happen with me. I'm usually really good with technology.
Well, I know. If you ask my opinion, all Daves are brilliant. And I say this because I'm married to one also. And he's very technologically inclined. But let me ask you, what is your astrological sign?
It's Pisces.
Pisces. Okay. Oh, yes. All right. Dave, let me tell you here. Can I call you Dave?
Sure.
Instead of David. Okay.
Just don't call me Darren.
I won't call you Darren, I swear. Of course, now that you said that, I probably will, but forgive me. Okay. One thing about Pisces lately is that Neptune's in Pisces, and it's been in Pisces for a little while because Neptune is one of those planets that sticks in a sign for a while. And Neptune is also Pisces' ruling planet. I don't know if you knew that or not. Yes. But Neptune is the planet of intuition, and in some cases, deep-seated emotion. Now, Neptune just went retrograde within the last couple of days. It just happened. And what happens when Neptune goes retrograde, it's unlike any other retrograde planet. Neptune's retrograde actually intensifies the psychic empath energy around you. So I think what you're experiencing actually is, okay, let me ask you this question first. Are you in tune with your intuition, or are you used to using it, or are you used to more logical-based figuring things out?
The answer to that question is yes.
Okay, so both?
Yes.
Okay. What it's trying to tell you is, and this is what I'm seeing in the last couple of days, your intuition is trying to push through and tell you something, but you're trying to figure out. And when Neptune goes retrograde and it makes that intuition much stronger, if you're ignoring that intuition that's pulling you in a direction you need to go into, whether you want to go or not, is irrelevant. These things are happening around you because they're trying to get your attention. So rather than, I would just take a step back before tomorrow and, or first thing in the morning when you wake up. And rather than when situations come up, rather than trying to think them through right now, it's really important to go with your gut. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. I can do that.
Because I'm seeing in the past couple of days that you have been more ignoring your gut and more analytical, I got to figure this out. And I'm also seeing that the more you're analytical figuring this out, the more this is happening around you. So spirits have a way, our guides have a way of manipulating those things, and electronics are really, really, really easy to manipulate for them because electric energy moves in the same way that their energy does. And so, and I'm also being shown that a lot of these things are happening when you're trying to use them. That's a sign that you need to pay attention. They're saying, no, you don't need to use this right now. You need to go in the direction that you're being pulled to and listen. And you have a guide. I want to say this is a grandfather. And when he said, son, listen, you did not listen. It's as simple as that. This man is the one that's doing this because he's trying to guide you and you're not listening to what he's saying. So he's been very patient, he says, but now his patience is about to run out. And it's not in a way to where he's not going to work with you anymore. It's just that what he's doing to get your attention is being amped up. So that's why your electronics are kind of sort of on the fritz the last couple of days. Tomorrow, be more aware of where your intuition is guiding you and let it flow rather than thinking it through. And I guarantee you probably won't have those issues quite so much.
Okay. So
I hope that answers your question.
it gives me some ideas. Yeah, that's. I kind of suspected something like that anyway. So.
Now, I do have to ask this question also. Are you in the process in these couple of days of making a decision and you're not sure which way to go?
Not really. I kind of live my life in that state. So I mean, it's no more so than usual.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is because, okay, there's one decision. I don't know which one it is. Okay, so you're going to have to sit down quietly and kind of figure this out. There's one decision where on one side it makes sense, but you're really pulled to go in this direction. He said go with where you're pulled to, not the one that makes sense. And he's saying this because he says sometimes you tend to play too safe, and the direction that's pulling you is a bit risky. And he's saying, go ahead and take the risk. We're not going to let you fall.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So I hope that helps to answer your question also.
Yeah, I'll just have to think about what question that is.
It'll come to you. It'll come to you. Yeah, it will.
It'll probably come to me when I'm trying to sleep tonight. So
I was thinking that same thing. You're going to be laying there and you go, I know what it is. Yes. So that's probably true. Yeah.
All right, great.
What is this thing, sleep, which you refer to?
It's that mystical thing that you hear about but never do, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Okay, well, there you go. I hope that will help, David.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
Poor guy. So anyone else that's there, unmute your damn self. Christy? Or Kathleen? There's Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. Don't hear you, Kathleen.
Hear me now?
Yep, can hear you now.
Okay.
Awesome. How's it going?
Going okay. How are you?
I couldn't be better, thank you.
Look at that sarcastic, shit-eating grin you got on your face.
I couldn't be happier.
I love it. That's why I love being on this show, you know. There's no holds barred. You never know what's going to happen. And it's always fun.
Yeah. I should try some ventriloquism and see how hard I could get as a fucking asshole. See? And it's fun because you're swearing on your show, and I go, I ain't fucking swearing on a show. You're just fucking swearing on a show. Fucking asshole. Fucking asshole. You're not swearing on my show. Okay, anyway. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kathleen. I lost my mind there for a second.
So I have to ask a question, right? Because I don't want to be just calling people. They're like, just give me anything that you see or feel.
Ask a question. Yeah.
You can ask a question, or if you don't have a question, you can ask for a general. I'm open for just about anything. Just don't ask me to take my clothes off because it ain't happening. Sorry. I don't care how dang hot it gets out here.
Oh, well, I don't think I'd probably ask for that.
You're good, thank you.
But thanks for making sure that I don't put it on my list.
Yeah.
So, make sure in the future. I was just wondering, I have a question about a friend of mine that's I'm going through a journey with a friend of mine, and I just wanted some insight on that and how we're doing and if we're moving in the right direction.
So, the first thing that I'm seeing with this friend of yours is that there has been some difficulties in the relationship. There's almost, the word that I get is restructure. Like there has to be some restructuring in this relationship, and in some cases some boundaries. Does that make sense?
And her and my relationship, or her relationship
With this friend. It's the relationship between you and the friend.
Okay.
I'm also seeing a health issue around one of you. I'm going to go with her because I don't feel it's around you. Does that make sense?
We'll take that as a yeah.
Yes, I said.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. All right. No, it's okay. It's okay. I just didn't hear you. Okay. There's a couple of things. First of all, one of the big things that I'm seeing is that you want to be helpful and you want to be there for her. And I'm also seeing that this relationship has gone on for a really long time, as in the friendship between you two. You guys have been friends for a really long time. You want to be of service to her. You want to help her. And in this particular situation, sometimes it works out really well, and other times it's really difficult for you. Like maybe parts of her health issue make her, really moody, or she's in a lot of pain. Sorry. She's in a lot of pain, and she may not mean to lash out, but she is, things like that. I do see things, first of all, there's a turn coming up in the next couple of months where things are going to turn in another direction, a more positive direction. I almost get this feeling like you're either waiting for a diagnosis, like they haven't figured out what's wrong with her yet or what this illness is, or we're looking for an actual cure for this illness. Whatever, either way, that's going to happen in a couple of months. It's like things are going to get really, really difficult, and then they're going to totally turn around and change within the next couple of months. I'm going to say by the end of the summer. In the meantime, it's not going to be easy. And I'm also being shown that there are some difficulties between you and family members of hers. Can you take that?
Yes.
Okay, so my advice on that one is don't join the drama llama party. Mm-hmm. Let them do what they're doing. You just keep an eye on your friend and make sure that she's being taken care of. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And I see this female around your friend too. It's like everything is a catastrophe with this woman. And this is probably one of the biggest difficulties because, the first catastrophe is okay. The second catastrophe is okay. By the third and fourth catastrophe, you're sick and tired of hearing it. That's the feeling that I get. So you also want to take everything that she says with a grain of salt and make sure that you check your facts before you allow how she says something to affect mm-hmm. how you feel about it. So it's the difference between getting scared right away, as in this is the worst case scenario, she's going to die next week, to actually the reality is that they don't really know what's going on, but they're working on resolving the issue. It's things like that. I'm also being shown a flip-flop. Were you going through an illness where she was helping you before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I'm glad because I didn't want to see that upcoming. So this is it's almost like karma is being taken care of in this particular situation. But I'm also going to say that you'll put in more than she did for you. And it doesn't mean that you need to get sick again so that she can give you more. It just means that, it's just what they're giving me. It's probably going to be more difficult for you to help her than it was for her to help you. And that's okay. The reason I'm telling you this is because she will feel bad about it. And one of the things that I'm picking up with this woman is she's very independent. She doesn't want to be taken care of. She doesn't want to be a bother to anybody. So I keep getting this, no, it's fine, I'm fine, just go kind of a thing. You want to make it like, no, I'm just here to hang out and chit chat with you and, you know, things like that. Not, I'm here to take care of you, because she's really not going to, embrace that very much, I guess. There's a lot of frustration around this woman with this illness. I get the feeling that she wants to do so much and she can't. And this is really, really frustrating for her. I also get the feeling that she's the person that takes care of everybody normally, and she doesn't want to be taken care of. She wants to be back in the spot of taking care of everybody else. One of the things that I want to give you to tell her is that it's time for her to take care of her. It's time for her to allow everybody else to take care of her, because if she does not do that, she's creating an imbalance. She needs to be able to receive as well as give, and this is part of her lesson. The longer it takes her to get that lesson, the longer she's going to be sick. That's what I'm told by, I don't believe this is your guide, I believe it's hers. This is a lady in spirit that that took care of her at one time. And she's giving you a purple daisy, and she's just saying thank you for taking care of her girl. Because she's showing me that you've got eyes like a hawk and you're watching everything that's going on around her. And you're doing it very quietly so that nobody knows that you're doing it. And she's very, very thankful that you're doing that. Not because anybody would do anything intentionally to harm her, but people make mistakes. And it's a mistake that would happen that would possibly harm her, not necessarily her illness. And I'm also seeing around her, besides this young lady who has catastrophes all the time, a young man also that seems to be kind of airheaded, like he's not paying attention to what he's doing. And they both almost seem more like what's going on with them is more important than what's going on with her, which is very frustrating. I also feel that you want to completely and totally explode on these two, maybe even knock their heads together and hope that maybe some sense gets in there, but it's not going to do you any good. That's her lesson and that's their lesson with those particular people. Your job is just to keep doing what you're doing, and she is going to be fine. She is going to make it out of this. And I'm pretty sure she's going to be making some serious changes when she's done.
Yeah, she's already started.
Yeah. And these two here are not, she's not going to be doing for them what she did before. Because this is a very clear example of what happens when you do things for people and don't allow them to learn how to do them for themselves. It's like I see two great big babies. That's what I'm seeing. And this is just it's like everything that she's done for them was for nothing, because they can't seem to give back what she put into their relationship.
That's for sure.
So you are actually, whether she says it or not, or whether she vocalizes it or not, I do want to let you know that it is so important for her to have you right now, because you are the only stability that she has. She's really scared in terms of what's going on with this illness, because there's still some things about it that are unknown, and that can be really scary. But your energy when you're around really brings her to a calm and focused space, and takes her out of that worry, or that need to worry in her head.
Well, that's good. That's my intention.
Yeah, but definitely, when you're there with her and when you're visiting with her, I'm just here to hang out with you. This is what I've been doing with my husband's grandmother, because she's very independent herself and she doesn't want people taking care of her. And I go up there for a week at a time during, each month of the summertime, and I'm not here to take care of you, Grandma. I'm here to talk. We both love to talk, so let's get to talking. We spend 5 days talking to each other. But at the same time, I'm making sure she's taking her medicine. I'm making sure she can get to the bathroom, and I am actually taking care of her. She's just, I'm making it seem like I'm not. And for some people, they really need that. I know for me, I would really need that because I wouldn't want anybody taking care of me.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps, but things are going to get better. This is not something that's going to keep progressing into a bad place where it could be fatal to her. And a lot of it is up to her. And she is a fighter. She's not going down without a fight, I can tell you that.
And she's definitely a fighter for sure.
Mm-hmm. But no, things are going to turn around and she is going to get better.
The way I feel too. So it's a matter of, I just wanted some confirmation on that. Kind of funny you mentioned the hawk. Her father's passing and always sends a hawk to let her know when he's around. And there's been a hawk, with every single test and every single treatment and everything we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, been
okay.
Just mentioned the Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he always referred to me. It's it.
Right.
I have to keep an eye on him like a hawk, but then actual hawks show up in the strangest places. But that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Gives me.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get in.
A little bit more hope.
Awesome. And can I ask, is it cancer that she has, or a possibility of cancer?
Yes. She has a very a rare form of an aggressive breast cancer.
Okay.
So we started.
Yeah. No, I'm going to see things. Things are going to look like they're going to get worse before they get better, but it literally turns around in a couple of months.
Yeah, no, we have great hope in it. I mean, I don't think they'd be doing the treatments they are. This isn't my first rodeo, so, I don't think they'd be doing the treatments that they're doing if they thought it was something that they didn't think they had a chance on beating. And we are with the best cancer center that's possible, and, hey, once she decides to do something, I've never known her over 20 years, I've never seen this woman fail, so it's just not an option for her.
Right, exactly. But you'll know when she's ready, because all of a sudden she'll give that up. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. She may get very close to that point before things change just because she's tired. But, you'll know when she's done, when she just lets it go and stops fighting it. But I see a lot more years in this woman.
Yeah,
than just this year.
I don't get a feeling of dread with it. It's just a matter of getting through it.
Right, exactly. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard on you. It's going to be hard on her. And but I really feel the biggest difficulty or the biggest challenge for you is not knocking these two kids' heads together. If I were in your shoes, that's what I'd want to do, honestly.
Honestly, it's not kids.
Well, it's
act like kids.
When I say kids, I mean they're acting like kids. They're probably grown adults, but they're acting like children.
Yeah. No doubt about that. See, a lot of people don't know this because I haven't put it. I'm doing some fundraising and stuff for that to help pay with her bills because she has to travel an hour and a half for treatments. I travel 3 hours. I'll travel an hour and a half to pick her up and then take her the hour and a half from her house to the treatments. But her mom's battling cancer right now at the same time, so we're double.
Oh, God.
Her mom has stage 4 lung cancer. So
that's awful.
Double whammy. She's got a lot going on.
She is very lucky to have you because I really feel that you are her support system. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have anybody else, but, when it comes down to somebody being grounded and calm and on it, you are that person for her. I don't see anybody else around her that is like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
They can go back and forth, but every time you're with her, you're very grounded, very focused, and you have this calming influence over her, even if she's batshit crazy before you get there.
Yeah.
within 5 minutes, it makes a huge difference. And in order to heal, she really needs that.
Yeah, and we have a lot of fun together, even at the darkest moments. Her and I are we have a lot of fun together. So I have great faith in the journey being the way the journey is supposed to go. I don't get the feeling of dread. I just get the feeling that it's a journey she has to go through to come out on the other end and be where she wants to be. So.
Right. I get that feeling too, very strongly. But I also get the feeling that she can beat this, at least for now. And I have to say that because knowing cancer, once it's there, it has a tendency to sneak back in later.
Yeah, absolutely. Like she said, if I can get 10 or 20 more years before it comes back, I'll be happy. So, she's very realistic about it. So.
Right. But I knew somebody who beat cancer 6 times before it took him. He was very young, and it was a very aggressive form of cancer, and I can't say that he caused his own cancer, but he didn't make necessarily the best choices that, to avoid getting sick like that. But he was such a strong fighter that, he had it and beat it 6 or 7 times in the 10, 15 years that he kept getting it until it wore him down. And it eventually will.
It does, eventually, for sure. But I have another friend that had stage 4, and they put him on chemo, maintenance chemo, and that was 23 years ago. He's still on it.
Right. It's definitely not an automatic death sentence these days.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of faith in your friend that she will beat it.
Yeah.
I can't say the same thing about her mom.
Just want to say confirmation. No, her mom's doing maintenance chemo right now, and I think that's, she's making it look easy, but yeah, she knows what it is and she knows her outcome, but she's not going anywhere until she knows what her girl's okay. So we're just doing it all together. That's all.
Right. Absolutely. All holding hands in the process, and you're very important in for both of them, really.
Yeah.
For both of them. I mean, you're taking a huge load off of her mother, who's going through her own thing at the same time. So, that means a lot to her mom, I'm sure.
Well, she means a lot to me, so it's working out, and I just needed confirmation. You gave me that. You said 3 words there was only 3 words in that whole conversation that I needed to hear that confirms it even more, and we're good to go, and I'm so very grateful for that. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help.
I don't want to hog the airtime, and when you're ready, let's do one of those big shows together.
Heck yeah! That would be awesome.
I would love to do that, so.
Yeah, well, let me know if you're going to do it again next year. Let me know ahead of time, and I might be able to plan it out and plan some trips on the way as I go, because I would like to do the traveling medium thing across the U.S. next year. I think that would be fun.
I love doing that. I love traveling, doing that. I've done it before. It is just so amazing. You'll love it. You'll be so good at it. You'll be so good at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just love spreading my joy to the world. You're very welcome.
All right,
Thanks,
Chris,
Kathleen.
I'll mute myself.
Murky buckets, manamai.
Whatever you just said. I don't even know.
I basically said, merci beaucoup, mon ami.
Oh, okay.
But, yes, you can. Who's possessed? You cannot ask another question if you're alleging that I'm possessed. Okay. So, Mary, unmute your damn self. Okay. Yeah.
Am I unmuted?
Yeah.
Okay. My girlfriend called me last night. Her husband is the one that I was asking for prayers for last week. They didn't think he was going to make it through surgery. He called her and told her to get rid of all the guns in the house because he was going to come home and kill her. And she said he wasn't kidding. And when you hear, when somebody says something like that to you, you could tell if they were kidding. My bedroom. I'll get it.
Okay, so he's in the hospital in critical condition. Is that what you said?
Yeah, he's doing better. He's on the got down to the step down unit, and he's combative, and he has a bad temper. I asked her if he'd ever touched her. That he has a terrible, terrible temper. He wanted this surgery. He's the one that fought for this surgery. Afraid of him. And she said, even if I get the guns out of the house, if he wants to kill me,
He doesn't need a gun.
Yeah.
Has he made a threat like that to her before?
No. He has a gun. They both have guns because their house has been broken into.
How old is this guy?
He's 50-something.
I want to say that his frustration is what was speaking at that time. I also want to say that he was in some pain. And I also want to say that he may have made the decision to have this surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But, do you know when his birthday is? Or around when his birthday is?
Can you hear us, Mary Margaret?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Just grunt every now and then, okay?
I'm sorry. I was grunting.
Okay.
It's the congestion.
Yeah. I'm using.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter when his birthday is. The reason why I asked is because I went through this, not to this extreme, thank goodness. The person that I'm talking about said that to me, I'd knock his head off. I don't care who he is. But I went through something similar at the beginning of the year with my dad. And he went through an angiogram in the leg and was awake through the whole thing because he can't be intubated. And then an angioplasty through that artery. And the medicine didn't work right away, and because he had the angioplasty, he had to stay overnight, and typical with hospitals, they took their sweet time calling me to let me know this and to let me know where he was going to be so I could drop off stuff for him and all these different things. It was a whole day long process. And once I finally got there, after these people finally gave me the information that I needed, I literally left the house and went straight to the hospital. And when I got there, he bit my head off. How come you didn't come over here and bring me clothes and take me home? And it was his frustration that was talking. He knew that was not possible. And he also knew that me knowing he had an angioplasty in that main artery in his leg, I wasn't taking him home. And that's something that's very dangerous. You have to lie completely still for a long period of time in order for that to close up. So I really get the feeling it was very similar, that he was speaking out of frustration because of the experience that he was going through or the pain level that he was going through in that surgery. But also, what concerns me about this is the fact that if an individual already has that violence in them, and I know for my dad, he does have it in him. He's not like that now. But under stress like this, you're going to see it. And so if he's saying, and he's wording that in that way, I have a concern for her in that relationship. Because that tells me that even if she says, no, he's never hit her or something like that, I'm picking up verbal and emotional in that relationship. And I'm also picking up that this particular person has a hard time owning up to their own responsibility. So he may be taking the pain of a surgery that he chose to go through out on her, because she didn't stop him from doing it. Does that make sense?
Well, she thought it was serious enough. She talked to a social worker. Social worker took it seriously, and there was somebody in the room, nurse or something, that heard him tell Diane that. Mm. So it's not just Diane thinking that. It was somebody else.
Well,
right.
I mean, particular.
It is serious.
Here's my thing. If in particular the medical staff then is therefore aware, then it's on them at this point to consider, a psych eval or something like that, because they're going to be a little bit on the hook if they release this guy and he turns out and goes and kills her, or tries to kill her.
Absolutely, yes. They would be held responsible because they overheard it. Yeah. And it could be a medication combination too.
Right. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it could be a medication combination, and the doctors would be able to determine that. But there's a difference between somebody that has never said something like that before, that all of a sudden comes out with it in a situation like that, versus somebody that there is a little bit of abuse there, and it might be so minor, and she's so used to it, she doesn't identify it for what it is.
See, if he would have said, hide all the guns, because the minute I get home, I'm blowing myself away, because I don't want to go through this anymore. You know what I mean? Then
that would be different.
But he wants to kill her.
Yeah.
That's not good. Like, to me, that's, yeah. She shouldn't,
I told her I wouldn't let him come home. I would just flat out talk to his doctor, and he's a nurse, and she said he's acting psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
He got a defibrillator implanted in him. His heart was so bad, and then they just did heart surgery and put a valve in.
Right.
Maybe his oxygen could have been cut off. Maybe his brain's messing up. I mean, that's scary.
It could be, or those medications need to be checked, because it happens all too often where people are taking regular medications that they normally take, and then you go into the hospital and they don't double check and give you a medication that doesn't work with the ones that you're currently taking, and it could be just as simple as that. But I agree, I wouldn't let him come home until he's back to normal again.
Yeah, and then even with that, there's, she should not get rid of her gun, but she should get rid of his gun, and then she should tell him that she got rid of all the guns, and she should, she should pack her gun at all times.
I'd put a lock on my bedroom door, too.
Well, and the lock isn't, I mean, a lock will give you some advance notice, maybe,
I'm going to tell you what, if I locked something up and I didn't want my husband to get to it and it was an emergency, there isn't a lock on the planet that's going to keep him out of it. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Especially somebody who's angry at the moment. That anger gives you super subhuman powers to break through just about anything. So.
Well, I was just thinking, she was telling me that she wouldn't be able to sleep, anyway. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I couldn't close my eyes, and that's what I was thinking. She'd hear.
Did anybody let the police know, or what has the hospital? When did this all happen?
Yes. Let's see. She told me last night, and I think she said Saturday night or Sunday. So, said she told she was going to call his doctor today.
Huh?
And she said she almost called the police, but then she thought, well, maybe, what if it is, doesn't want to stir up a hornet's nest if it could be medication. But I don't know.
Well, here's the key, though. If the doctor doesn't already know about it, then whatever nurse it was that overheard that should be called up to question, because she should have documented that on the chart. At the very least, she should have documented that on the chart.
And you won't, if she calls the police, it won't be a hornet's nest if it is a medication issue. Mm-hmm. Because the police are going to investigate that, and they're going to talk to the doctors and the nurses, and they're going to want to investigate every possible avenue. So they're not necessarily going to go straight to, oh my God, this guy is violent, we need to lock him up.
If they even do anything, what I always say is this, though, is that you report, even if you think they're going to do nothing, because at least you've documented it.
They might actually be helpful. That's what I'm saying. Because it has been documented, and if the hospital's not doing anything, and they're not listening to his wife, and they're not listening to family members, they're going to listen to the cops. That's why I'm saying she should report it. Because once you get the police involved, now at least you got the hospital focused on what they need to focus on too. And then they can determine whether or not this is a medication issue, whether or not it's a side effect from the surgery or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to press charges. In fact, she would have to press charges against him for him to be arrested anyways. So it might be helpful for her to do it.
Little country town that it takes them 15 minutes to get to their house. Tells them, so.
Yeah, but in 15 minutes she could be dead.
Yeah. I know.
They done a CAT scan.
So yeah, if I were her, I'd be working with that doctor 24/7, and I would not allow him out until they figure out what caused that, or it doesn't exist anymore. And I also want to say to have them be very careful, because he has a tendency to play like everything is okay, make it seem like everything is okay.
Yeah, Kathleen was asking if they'd done a CAT scan.
I'm sorry, Kathleen, I just saw that. I have no idea. I'll call her tomorrow.
So suggest it, you know what I mean? And really the medical people should be anything.
A CAT scan needs to be done. It's very, very common with that type of heart surgery for blood clots or a slow bleed to be found in the brain, which will cause erratical behavior like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or a small tumor, even on a tiny one like the size of a pea. CAT scan needs to be done, and it will change their emotions and their behavior drastically, almost like overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Surgery is usually what brings that to the forefront.
Right.
I would suggest a CAT scan.
And you can't rely on the hospital should be doing this. Because I don't know how it is in other states, but I know here in California, they don't do what they should do. Sometimes you got to push and make sure that they cover all their bases. So she has to be very actively pushing. Have you done a CAT scan? How about these tests? How about those tests? How about all of these, different tests? She needs to make herself as annoying as possible so they cover all bases. It's the only way to get results.
Yeah, she won't be afraid to open her mouth because she is a nurse and she used to be a supervisor.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, she needs to protect herself and him at this point.
Well, I've always thought between you and me and the gatepost, he was a little odd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this might have made it
between you,
a lot
me,
worse.
the gatepost, and the whole listening audience all around the world.
That now knows what you're thinking. No, but I do pick up that too, and it might have been minor, it wasn't really that big of a deal before. This is a drastic change still, and it needs to be addressed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we kept you already 10 minutes over.
Thanks, honey.
That's okay. We started 15 minutes late, so.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't your fault.
But my dinner's here, and I've got to shove it in my mouth now.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. HeavyMetalPsychic.com, and Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, ParamaniaRadio.com. And go find her on Facebook, too, at Facebook.com/HeavyMetalPsychic.
Thanks so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary Margaret. And so thank you, Melissa. Awesome. Next time, make a little note for yourself, and let's talk about animal/pet astrology.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
You can do that.
Perfect. Well,
All
thanks
right.
for all your patience tonight. It was a pain in the ass, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's all right. Sometimes you just got to roll with the punches. You know what I mean?
I do.
It is what it is.
All right. Well, eat for me too. Better on your hips than mine.
I will. It's pizza. Greasy and delicious.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Talk to you later.
All right.
Thanks, Melissa.
Bye, everybody. See you next month.
You betcha. Peace out. And, pizza. Pizza. Okay, so what do we got here? If we're gonna do overtime, I need people on. Otherwise, we're gonna get out of here. You know what I mean? And so, Mary Margaret's still there. But I gotta, Amy might become.
I'm good. I could go hang clothes and look for my necklace.
Yeah, and look for your necklace. Amy just switched out her sound, so I don't know. Okay, Amy just muted it, mic'd up, so that's good. I want to hear from Amy. She's going to tell. I'm not sure I believe this alligator story. Hey, Amy.
No.
Oops, hang on. Hello. Oh, hang on. Fuck it. You unmute yourself, because I think we're playing unmute tag here. Go ahead.
Okay,
now
it's all over the national news.
Oh, it is.
It's a real story.
No, but I'm not saying that it's one of those, but I'm saying this. Is there an actual witness that saw?
Yes.
That's not the parents. That's not the parents.
Yes, there was movies on that. Yes, there was movies on the beach.
Okay. Good.
Yes.
Good. I was a little suspicious is all. Not that there wasn't a missing kid.
It was some sort of hoax, but apparently,
well, no, I wasn't thinking hoax. I was thinking, parents did something.
Damn, Disney World, right. Exactly.
I never heard this.
Free shit from deep pockets, but no.
Yeah.
And that's my greatest fear is getting eaten by an alligator. That's my favorite hotel, the Grand Floridian, where it happened. It's like $1,000 night hotel.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely. Orlando just turned into a freaking apocalypse.
Yeah. I know you've been bad luck for Orlando.
I know, I wanted to F out of here.
Maybe what we have, I'm gonna do something here. What's the friend of your neighbor guy that killed himself? Or allegedly killed himself?
Drew?
Okay, Drew. Oh, interesting. Drew. Interesting. Okay. So Drew, stop it. I think Drew is haunting Orlando. And, Drew.
Oh, so I'll go back to Jacksonville.
And so, if you're gonna go haunt anybody, go haunt whoever helped kill you, but don't haunt Orlando. If that's you, Drew, if not, then I apologize. I'm just taking no chances is all, So, just go on to the light, Drew, and go on with your business and don't worry about us here. Okay? And,
and then remember when I went to Kentucky Derby and I met the guys and I was going to go to the Vanity Fair party?
Yeah.
One of them died at the gay club.
Mm. Well, here's what pisses me off. And hang on 2 seconds. For all of our archive listeners, thank you so very much for listening to us tonight. And we're going to go offline now. We'll be back tomorrow with Amateur Night. Mary Margaret will be here and who knows who else. And so we're going to do that. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.